In this lesson, student will be able to know about the details of Internet and World Wide Web. Learning objectives. After the completion of this lesson, you will be able to understand what is the Internet, major Internet tools and services, history of Internet, how to access Internet, how does the Internet work. What is the Internet? The Internet is a worldwide network of computer networks using a cluster of protocols called Transmission Control Protocol, Internet Protocol. Permits internally connected of a number of various computer networks. The Internet covers huge worldwide wide area networks, WANs, and in addition smaller local area networks, LANs, and PCs frequently connected to the Internet, allowing access to the worldwide. The Internet supports communication and sharing of information and collaborates tremendous amount of data through different kinds of services and tools. Major Internet tools and services: email, electronic mail, news groups, Internet Relay Chat, IRC, Telnet, File Transfer Protocol, FTP, World Wide Web, WWW. Email, electronic mail. Electronic mail is a technique for exchanging computerized messages between PC users. It is the most common as well as widely used of the Internet. Gmail, Yahoo Mail, Rocket Mail, Hotmail, Outlook, and many more are available for free on the web. Username and a domain name are the most essential part of a valid email address. They are separated by the @ sign. For example, webtech@gmail.com. Newsgroups. Newsgroups are Internet discourse discussions where gatherings of users with common interests get together to discuss everything from programming to comic books to governmental issues. It is accessible through news readers. It's indicate to users where the users can discuss issues of the topics. For example, rec.arts.tv, discussion about television, its history, and past and current shows, such as the main television news group. IRC, Internet Relay Chat. Internet Relay Chat, the transmission of the continuous text content over the Internet. Internet Relay Chat is composed by subject of enthusiasm into channels. The chat process works on a client-server networking model and discussion occurs in chat rooms. A number of websites consist of built-in chat rooms. Telnet. Telnet is a text-based program that can use to link with another PC utilizing the Internet. Telnet is a dedicated service that permits an administrator or client to get access another person's PC remotely. FTP, File Transfer Protocol. The File Transfer Protocol, FTP, is a standard network protocol used to transfer computer documents between a client and server on a computer network. It is perfect for acquire or transfer files to a remotely access another computer. FTP programs are open source software and distributed free of charge. Majority of the browsers come up with their own built-in FTP capabilities. World Wide Web, WWW. Invented in 1991 by Tim Berners-Lee, the web is the rapidly thriving Internet service. The World Wide Web is basically an arrangement of Internet servers that support specially formatted documents. In light of HTML, hypertext markup language allow Internet users to access the information in computerized digital format. Simplest unit is the web page, mainly a document encoded in HTML format that can be accessed by the user by using a web browser. HTML links contents of a web page to each other as well as to other web pages through a hyperlink. Each page has an address, a Uniform Resource Locator, URL. History of Internet. In 1969, the Internet developed from ARPANET, the first PC system intended for the Advanced Research Projects Agency, or ARPA, is an agency of the United States Department of Defense. ARPA supported exploration on interconnecting geologically isolated PCs to permit communication as well as sharing of information and resources. Its initial objective was to make a communications network at Pentagon-funded research institutions over telephone lines. Because of the innovative development with early research that gave proof of huge to the accomplishment of ARPANET, which later on turns into the Internet, were packet switching and TCP or IP, Transmission Control Protocol or Internet Protocol. In packet switching, data is separated into various little bundles known as packets and afterwards transmitted. TCP or IP is the main Internet protocol that permits computers to talk with each other. Understanding the value of interconnected computers, the scholastic group began with its own particular research network. The NSF-Net, or National Science Foundation Network, made and named for the National Science Foundation, connected academic networks that associated research organizations and a few universities around North America. Networks from Europe and distinctive countries were associated with NSF-Net, making it the backbone of the Internet. ARPANET was decommissioned, and the organization of the Internet was gone on to the National Science Foundation Network, or NSF-Net. Was a system of facilitated developing activities supported by the National Science Foundation, or NSF, starting in 1985 to promote advanced research and education networking in the United States. The rise of World Wide Web and Mosaic in 1993, NCSA Mosaic 1.0, the first web browser, was released to achieve popularity among the general public, conveyed an exceptional development to the Internet. NSF-Net returns back to an exploration venture, leaving the Internet in business hands and its management to autonomous associations. How to access Internet? Numerous educational institutions and organizations have direct access to the Internet utilizing extraordinary high-speed communication lines and equipment. Understudies and representatives can access through the association's local area networks, LAN, or through their own particular exceptional PCs. Another approach to get to the Internet is through Internet Service Provider, ISP. For examples, Microsoft Network, AT&T Networks, etc. To get to the Internet, a current system need to pay a little registration charge and agree to particular standards based on the TCP or IP, Transmission Control Protocol, or Internet Protocol reference model. Every association pays for its own particular network systems and its own particular phone bills. However, those expenses generally exist independent from the Internet. The diagram shows how to access Internet based on the TCP or IP reference model. How does the Internet work? The following components are required to run Internet, such as protocols, standardized rules that define how computers communicate and exchange data. IP address. Each computer is assigned a unique address to identify them uniquely on a network. Domain name. Composed of structured, simple, human-readable naming system to trace computers on the Internet. URL, Uniform Resource Locator, defines an address that identifies a particular file on the Internet. Client and server is a network architecture in which each computer or process on the network is either a client or a server. Internet protocols: TCP or IP, HTTP, FTP, Telnet protocol, SMTP. TCP or IP. Every PC and systems on the Internet uses the same conventions, norms, and structure to control timing and format of the data. The Internet is a packet switching network that uses TCP or IP as its core protocol. TCP or IP is a suite of protocols that represent network addresses and the association and bundling of the information to be sent over the Internet. The protocol used by the Internet is the Transmission Control Protocol or Internet Protocol or TCP or IP. Regardless of what type of PC framework is associated with the Internet, if it uses TCP or IP, it can exchange data with any other type of computer. TCP, Flow Control and Recovery of Packets. IP, Addressing and Forwarding of Individual Packets. HTTP, or Hypertext Transfer Protocol for accessing and transmitting World Wide Web documents. FTP, or File Transfer Protocol for transferring files from one computer to another. Telnet protocol allows user to log on to a remote computer. SMTP, or Simple Mail Transfer Protocol for sending and managing electronic mails or email. Routing traffic across the Internet. A large number of the PCs don't associate straightforwardly to the web, rather connect with a smaller network which is linked to the Internet backbone. The Internet consolidates an extensive number of host PCs, servers, which give information and services to the client system based on the requests. When use the Internet, user's PC, called as client, requests data from a host system called as server. The data and information are broken into bundles and go across over multiple network systems before being reassembled at their destination. Addressing schemes. IP address. Keeping in mind the end goal to communicate over the Internet, a PC must have a unique address. Every PC on the Internet has a unique numeric identifier called an Internet Protocol IP address. It is used by TCP or IP to route packets of information from a sender to a location on the Internet. Each IP address comprises of 4 segments. Each segment has a place with a number between 0 and 255. Case for an IP location may look like as: in the following IP address, the initial 2 number sets assign the network. The third number set identifies the local network, and the fourth number set recognizes the specific machine. Domain names. Domain names are the alias or English language equivalent of a computer's IP addresses. A domain name identifies the type of institution that owns the computer. An internet server controlled by Google may have the domain name google.com. Domain name system (DNS) permits the utilization of simpler-to-recall domain names rather than IP locations to find PCs on the Internet. Despite an IP address, most Internet hosts or servers have a domain name system or DNS address which uses words. Some companies have numerous servers and recognize them with subdomains such as products.google.com. Domain names have 2 parts. First part names the host computer. Second part identifies the top-level domain. Examples of some top-level domains: .NET, network providers; .edu or AC, educational or academic; .org, non-profit organization; .gov, government site; .mil, military sites; .com, commercial or company site; .int, international organizations. Examples of country code top-level domains: .my, Malaysia; .au, Australia; .us, United States; .sg, Singapore; .uk, United Kingdom; .bd, Bangladesh; .jp, Japan; .cn, China. Uniform Resource Locator, URL. Each Internet document or file has a unique address called a URL. The URL consists of 3 parts: protocol, domain name, path. Protocol is the special set of rules for communication. Domain name is the Internet address of the computer represented by the names in English language that is equivalent of a computer's IP addresses. Path, the location of directory and file to access. The following example showing the different parts of an URL, Uniform Resource Locator, such as protocol, domain name, path, as well as file type of the URL. Client and server. Client or server describes the relationship between 2 computer programs. One is the client system and another one is the server system. For example, A web browser is the client which makes a request to the server to get access to the required data or information. The following figure shows that how a client is communicating with the server. Here, a browser application is used to send a request to the www server for a resource. Example, a web page, graphics file, audio file, etc. On the other hand, the server responds by sending the resource, a file, to the client and closing the connection.